I'm Liam Ward, a filmmaker from Melbourne, Australia. My film, Refugee, A Recipe, tells the story of Ali, a refugee from Afghanistan who escapes from persecution under the Taliban and winds up in the middle of a detention centre, sort of political controversy in Australia.
They put me 18 months in detention. Why? What is my fault? Am I not a human being? What is this mandatory detention? Why is government locking people in detention centre, you know? Why? What is our fault? When we are coming to detention centre, we can see is like jail. Everywhere is fenced with the razor wire, you know? When we meet with other people in detention centre, they say, we are being here now 6 months, 8 months, like this, and we don't know about our visa. We don't know about our release. When are we getting our freedom, you know? How long for is this detention?
My name is Robin Anderson, and I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, and I came here to the Bay Street Film Fest to participate and to present my film, which was A is for Apple. A is for Apple is about standardized testing in Canada and the Fraser Institute and how they make a yearly report card on schools.
I didn't really like school. I'm not saying I hated all of school when I was a kid, but there were a lot of areas of school that I found boring. So for me, one of the things I wanted to change was to make learning seem more organic rather than something you're supposed to do just to jump through the hoops in order to get a certain marks in order to get to university. What kind of values do we want to encourage in our young people? Curiosity of mind, critical thought. And these values and attributes are learned not in academic courses necessarily. They're learned in relationship between teachers and students, explorations to make their learning real.
Coming up to this film festival was really interesting. It was it's the first film festival that I've actually gone to where I had work showing, so that was an incredible experience for me, especially since it's here in the Finnish Labor Temple and just the atmosphere of everything that's the history behind the building, the other kinds of films that are screening, and it's a really an inspiring experience.
Meanwhile, wages for the ordinary working class have been flat, or in terms of real buying power means real wages when you control for inflation. They actually are, in many areas, they're declining.
Right now we're in an election cycle and the White House is trying to tout how good the economy is. Well, it's good for Wall Street, it's good for shareholders, it's good for owners. CEOs are kicking ass, they're doing really well. But it used to mean, if the economy was doing well in 1950, I think it equaled a lot more high-paying jobs. Or by high-paying, I mean living wage. Job growth today, because they tout low unemployment, well, most of the jobs being created are low wage and non-living wage jobs.
I think the atmosphere is like, this is my second time here. It's like coming home, and probably I will come here several times. But I think while I saw your facilities at the university and all these young people who are hanging around with cameras, I think it's marvelous. It's very positive.
Because I grew up in the city. I think of all these friends of mine that grew up in these smaller towns, and they seem much more Finnish American to me than I do. I don't have that kind of connection. And I know that there are other, third generation Finnish Americans who grew up in smaller towns, or who grew up with their grandparents who knew the learned the language, but I didn't have that. My grandmother's.
If you were to move here as a filmmaker, you'll find ample support, you'll find a great network of film buffs and filmmakers who are really committed to producing better work and fostering sort of collaborative partnerships, and I think it's a fantastic place.
Just experiencing this film fest has made me aware of the importance of smaller film fests, which are really open to people and accessible.
If you're making connections with people, say, like Liam, who's from Australia, we're trading films, and I'm going to show his in Chicago, and he's showing mine in Melbourne, and that never would have happened had I not come up to Bay Street.